think someone booked a male stripper to start now.
All right, go on then.
Is
You
that-
go do it.
Let's get on the tape. I saw you going to the bar, and I just felt like you needed a husband too, so I thought I'd come and say hello.
Oh, look at you.
That's so smooth.
You girls Scottish?
No, from Yorkshire.
Yorkshire? Yeah. Fucking hell. We're going to have to do something about your accent, but the rest is perfect. I'm joking. I'm not ready to get my bits out for my future wife's mum. That's for sure.
People ask me, how have you got so much humour? You know, like, did you study comedy? Like, how do you have that banter? How do you come back so quick? And it's like, I've never studied comedy, ever. I've never studied comedy. I've never read funny things to say. The reason that I can have that snapback response and that banter, because you've got the same sense of humour, you've got your equivalent. The learning to be able to access and channel your sense of humour fluidly where people laugh is the ability to not give a fuck. The reason you can't access your humour is because as part of your soul and part of your emotional circuitry, it's like, I hope I get this girl. I hope that I end up in a date with her. I hope she likes me. So you're forfeiting your authentic self to please that woman. And as a result of that, you're restricted and cut off from your sense of humour.
No point going into that club trying to be Mr. Cool, Mr. Smooth, trying to fit in. All that's got to fucking go. Because if you look around the club, you're going to see every other guy playing Mr. Cool, Mr. Smooth.
Like that.
Like when I said to you, I pointed out last night, we talked about like good-looking guys. How many good-looking guys do you see in the club stood there like that? Oh, stifled to fuck.
You know, and all of that, like, feeling like you've been blindsided when you're talking to an attractive woman and feeling this agitation and this resistance internally, all of it's coming from that psychological need to impress or get validation from the woman. So, like I said, your humour naturally comes out. The more you learn to not give a fuck, the more you, because now you're expressing yourself, the relationship with yourself, the access to the authentic self, is to get away those layers of egoic fucking resistance that's pushing you to try and play it safe, to be cool in the club, to say the right thing. You don't want to say the right thing, because the right thing is the wrong thing if it's conceptual. Saying the wrong thing technically, but it's truly your sense of humour, is the right thing, because that is what status is. The highest status person in the club is not the one that's dressed the best, the tallest, the sweet. The highest status person in the club is the person who gives a fuck the least. And people can see that. Because if you look at it on evolutionary terms, how did the woman know that the guy in this small group was the alpha male? Because everyone else was reacting to him. He was the one that fancied himself. So when you can show that you can go and do press-ups on the dance floor, or do high kicks, or go, hey baby, I love you. You know, just this outlandish, carefree, who doesn't give a shit guy. The women know straight away. They could see it in your energy, the brightness in your eyes, how relaxed your shoulders are. You can't fake that stuff. So, you know, the workout plan, because humour is important. You know, we say like there is no technique and PUA, but humour and confidence and even conversational threads are important. Displaying your intelligence is attractive, but it has to come from that place where it's not technique and it's not being fueled by that egoic need to impress. So what is the workout plan? You know, to create that flexibility in your character, to have access to your humour, you've got to start being more daring and trying more things. And it is polarising, because you could say something outlandish. You know, I want to get all up behind, you've got a real big bum, but you're Brazilian, I want to get all up behind that. She can go, fuck off, you creep. But the reason I know I can say all this twisted stuff and still get away with it is because at some point I took that risk. It's a workout plan that learning to not give a shit, it's not something that can happen immediately. You've got to be working at that. So your focus now, you know you can get numbers, you know you can go direct, you know women like you know women will even touch you within 10 seconds. Keep doing that, but some of the exercise, some of the practice has got to be expression, and that is the ability to reach out and do something that makes you laugh, that's important to you, that you're trying, without that self-judgment coming back in from, you know, the criticism that happens within. Oh, I feel the cringe. Fuck the cringe. The cringe is the enemy. The cringe is the thing that you want to become comfortable with. Because if you become comfortable with the cringe, it goes away. There's no way you're going to be able to hold a conversation for 20 minutes escalate on a woman, make eye contact, tell her she's sexy, create attraction, if you're being stifled and deflated by this cringe within. So how do you get excellent women in expression and inspiring men, highly attractive women, the ability to follow that workout plan? And part of your practice when you leave this boot camp is working on not giving a shit what people think.
There's part of you that does care about what people think. So I can sit here and I can say, don't care about what people think. And you'd be like, yeah, I shouldn't care about what people think. Okay, I won't care. And then we go to a beach club and then we're stood there and there's part of you caring about what people think. And you're like, damn it. I obviously didn't take Rose's advice because I still care about what people think. So the way you get through this is to understand the part of you that cares about what people think is not real. Can you see the part of you that cares about what people think and laugh at it? People spend a lifetime trying to make it so they don't care. There's a part of you that's always going to care, but that part of you is not real. It's a defense mechanism. So you need to use your awareness to see that part of you that cares. So if I'm stood here in this restaurant right now, and Dean says, pretend you're a cat. Part of me is going, no, you can't, no, don't do that. I'll look silly in front of Elle and those two guys over there, and you might think I'm a fucking weirdo. I can see that part of me, and I can go, meow! Just let it go. See what I'm saying? So it's not about not caring about what people think. It's about understanding the part of you that cares about what people think can go fuck itself.